Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back here with another YouTube video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing the Suicide Squad 2021 review here on the channel. So yeah, I finally got around to watching the Suicide Squad. Note, this is gonna come out probably late October, early November. My apologies for the very late review. I am actually watching this like a while before that. It's just this is being like a little bit pre-recorded and everything, seeing as though I have other things to do and stuff like that. So that's the reason why it's so pre-recorded. But I did watch it in September, in case somebody was wondering. So yeah, I mean I'm not super late or anything like that. It's just again pre-recording and everything. That's the reason why this is coming out so much later. But yeah, my reactions are genuine and everything, so just in case somebody's wondering, or if they're wondering per se, like, why is my review so late, uh, yeah, it's not super late actually. It is a little bit late technically, but I mean, it's not super late, I must. So, yeah, it's only like a month or so after the movie initially released and whatnot. But anyways, yeah. So anyways, let's get into this. Enough of that, kind of speaking, I guess. So yeah, I finally got around to watching the Suicide Squad, and I thought, let's get my thoughts on it. It's definitely an interesting movie. Do enjoy it a lot. Just got a few critiques, few like I thought was really cool and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. So, if for some reason you still haven't watched it by the time I'm reviewing this video's out, just a quick spoiler warning, just in case somebody hasn't seen it yet. But I'm just gonna say spoiler warning, just to be fair. I mean, I think I'm gonna say spoiler warning for everything that's been released, probably within like a month or within like a few months, within reason for movies and such. But TV shows is a bit different. But I mean, movies, not everyone's able to see it on different things and whatnot, so that's why. But anyways, yeah. So again, spoiler warning. Uh, yeah, definitely this movie was really interesting. I mean, I did like it. I definitely have some critiques for it though, but I still think it's very overall like positive, good movie and stuff like that. Yeah. So this movie's called The Suicide Squad, and it's supposed to serve as like some kind of soft reboot ish to the other Suicide Squad movie, and yeah, it doesn't mention that a whole lot. I know a lot of people were wondering maybe perhaps if like they would say mention stuff like from the first one. They do mention like a few things, being that there's been a Task Force X, and early in the movie, like for example, Savant's just like, so this is the famous Task Force X, also known as Suicide Squad, and like Rick and Harley know each other, of course, and Captain Boomerang, and they're all friends basically, the members from the previous one. So yeah, that's pretty interesting to see that happen. Definitely some shocking things too, I must say. Very personally, this is probably up there for one of the most shocking movies I've probably ever seen. Uh, Loads of death. You have no clue who's gonna die next. This movie is literally no holds bar. I can't even lie. Like, I myself was like imagining who could die, who's gonna survive, whatnot. I actually did a video quite a while back, doing that just before the movie came out. But I mean, I was honestly, I was pretty like starstruck of who died and who lived, or who's in the question and whatnot. So yeah, quickly let's go through all the deaths in case somebody doesn't know or whatever, or didn't see something, because there could be someone I didn't see either. For example, Blackguard, he died first. Actually, I have these all in kind of order of dying of whatnot, or at least what I've seen. What I saw who died first and whatnot. So the first is Blackguard. He died the most stupidest death I ever saw. Uh, Actually, next to these people that I'm about to say next. But I mean, I fully well was expecting Blackguard, so it wasn't too bad. Mongol died next. Another stupid death. Honestly, I wasn't too surprised. I mean, she's kind of like a background character, so it wasn't even that big. Next, we have like a huge death, and that was Captain Boomerang. I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Captain Boomerang's probably gonna go out like, he's like he would go out in some stupid way, like for example." He would be like, you would kind of think, oh yeah, they're not gonna kill him. He's a main character, and then he's gonna end up just randomly just dying to show like they're proving a point here. And actually, that did happen. I must say, like once I saw Captain Boomerang's death, I was just like, holy shit! I think they're gonna like fully well do some more like more impactful deaths and stuff like that. So that was pretty interesting to see that. Next up was Javelin, another like kind of backgroundish character. Savant, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Uh, I mean, I was a little surprised. I personally thought maybe he would survive longer. Personally, I thought Savant and Mongo would probably survive a little bit more throughout the movie. I knew they're probably gonna die, so I wasn't too surprised. But at the same time, I thought maybe they would maybe go to like maybe Starro fight or something with the Corto Maltese or something, and then they would die. That's just my personal thinking. Next up, we have speaking of thinking, is actually the Thinker dies next. He's killed by Starro. Rick Flag ends up dying as Peacemaker kills him, and I got some stuff to say about that after. And then Polka Dot Man, unfortunately, he died, and in one of the most, personally, in my opinion, Polka Dot Man was probably the most saddest death in my opinion. Then probably like Rick Flag. I would say maybe Captain Boomerang. Even though I was just like, what? After I saw Captain Boomerang, I was just like, no, not Captain Boomerang. And then I was just like, whatever. After that, personally, that's just my opinion. That's another problem a lot with like kind of with the Suicide Squad at certain times, is you kind of don't really have a relationship to a lot of. I mean, you do for certain characters, but for example, Captain Boomerang, I never really felt too much for him, other than he was a kind of iconic Flash villain, but that's about it. And then here's the kind of in the air who if they actually like survived or not, I'm not too sure. Peacemaker, I'm not too sure. Now the way you saw him die was probably really was like set in stone, like he got shot through the neck and whatnot. But I've seen a lot of things hinting towards perhaps he could survive that, especially with that post-credit scene at the end. So I'm not gonna rule Peacemaker as fully dead. He might be dead. I have no clue. Next up, we have Weasel and TDK. Weasel is actually confirmed to survive, and TDK actually was said to never even be dead. I think James Gunn actually confirmed it too. He actually said that TDK was never dead. And also you could see it on the screen too. It said critical condition for him, whereas for the other members that died, it just said deceased. So yeah, I just realized I've been talking a lot about the character deaths and stuff like that. Let's move on to the actual movie stuff. So I thought some good scenes pretty much stick out to me. Definitely that beach scene was pretty cool. I thought it was interesting. Again, I thought there were some pretty wholesome moments, especially with King Shark. He was pretty interesting. Same with Polka Dot Man. I thought Polka Dot Man was a pretty wholesome character in a sense. I know he was a bit insane, he was a bit crazy at times, but I mean, he actually made for a wholesome character, I would argue. I would argue probably second or third for him in place terms. I think King Shark was pretty wholesome. I know, honestly, personally, it kind of decreased a little bit when he was like chomping people up and stuff like that. But I mean, he just seemed like an interesting character and everything. I thought Ratcatcher 2 was done pretty well. I did actually enjoy her character. I hope to see her in more movies and whatnot. Harley Quinn, actually, to me, Harley Quinn took a little bit of a back step in this. But I mean, I understand why. Because again, it's like a team movie. It's not like, oh, this is Harley Quinn's movie. Let's give her all the screen time and whatnot. Yeah, again, I felt like she kind of stepped back a little bit. But it was completely fine. Bloodsport actually made for an interesting character. I do have some things to say about him personally. And then Peacemaker. I think I might make my own personal video, or not personal, sorry. My own like personal opinion video on Peacemaker. Actually, I might do that after I'm done doing this video. But I mean, Peacemaker to me is a pretty interesting character. I won't say too much in terms of like what I like about his character, but I do think he's pretty enjoyable and stuff like that. I mean, I'm definitely a layered character. I mean, not enjoyable, but like a layered character and whatnot. So yeah. Uh, yeah. Anyways, going into the war, like the villain, personally, I wasn't. Starro was so honestly. I honestly didn't really like Starro as much as like a villain. Of course, like the Corto Maltese and everything, those and like the military of them and everything, they were interesting. It was fun more so just to see like the squad just basically fight them. That was interesting, but I mean they didn't make for a really good villain either. Uh, and then again, Starro just felt like honestly, it just felt like they just took the easy way out and just gave him some a backstory to kind of make us feel bad about it. But I mean, at the same time, it just Star wasn't too good to me personally. But I did think he was an interesting villain enough to basically be the villain of this. But yeah, uh, again, action scenes were pretty spot on and stuff like that. I did enjoy it and everything. Uh, Again, this has an R-rated movie and it's very gore filled and stuff like that. Did I think the gore was needed? Yeah, somewhat. Uh, just one thing in particular is the fact that they only blew one person's head off, which is Savant. I think that's how I pronounce his name. Uh, and I mean, honestly, personally, just my personal opinion, I think they would have been better if they maybe did it like two times or something. Just cause it didn't really feel too much like that was like a huge real threat. Personally, that just didn't even really cross my mind that they were doing this with the implants in their neck and whatnot. So that's one thing. I must say, like, James Gunn, definitely you could see his vision for this. I think he has definitely a good vision. And I mean, if they make technically a third one or a sequel to this, a direct sequel, I think James Gunn could do some definite good. But I mean, it just feels like he had a little bit of a limited time frame and stuff like that. Like, I feel like this movie is a bit, I'm not gonna say all over the place, but at the same time, it's just like a bit of everywhere and stuff like that. And I feel like they need to flesh out a little bit better, like some backstories and stuff. So that's one thing. Also, I didn't like too much of the character repetitiveness and blood sport. Honestly, I know this isn't really the greatest thing to say, but honestly, I would have just much rather Andrew Silva to just basically be recasted as Deadshot. Personally, it just would have made it so much easier rather than make Bloodsport like a direct copy of him, because that's kind of what he does, what he is in this. And I know he does have some layers to him and stuff like that, but I mean at the same time, I feel like Bloodsport is just kind of like a copy, and I honestly I hope down the line maybe they can have each other verse off or something. That could be pretty cool. But I mean, Bloodsport, in my opinion, is a little bit more like edgy kind of compared to Deadshot. But at the same time, I just feel as if maybe they should have saved the character for another time or something. But yeah. Again, action pretty spot on. I did like it a lot. Definitely some interestingness. Story wise, I actually liked the plot twist at the end. It was pretty interesting. I just didn't like the way Frick's leg went out, and I don't think anybody did. But I mean, it was kind of sad to me and stuff like that. I actually felt bad when Rick Flag died. I was just like, no, and I kind of understood the themes and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, again, so that was pretty interesting. Uh, Definitely some pretty interesting stuff that comes from this movie and everything. But anyways, that's pretty much it though. Overall rating wise, I'll give it an easy 9 out of 10, 8.5. It's kind of missing something for to be like an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. But I mean, it's definitely a really good movie and stuff like that. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.